Hello everyone, so in this video I want to talk about how a lot of spiritual teachers out there teach things as if they are kind of real, when in fact I would say that most of the spiritual teachers, especially the New Age ones, what they're teaching is not necessarily real, as in evidential. It's more like what they've been told. And they've been told of someone who's also been told. It's like a kind of game of Chinese whispers. It works a bit like that. I would say that there's not many spiritual teachers out there who actually teach real lessons that are provable just by basically testing them. There is a few though. I mean, one of those teachers would be Leo from actualize.org. He's an amazing spiritual teacher who teaches things based on his experience of testing them over and over again, and everything he teaches, he'll say that you can go out and test them yourself and you'll see that what he's saying is real. These are real spiritual teachers, because there's a saying in the spiritual community now, which is, those who know do not speak, and those who speak do not know. Now, I personally don't think this is a very good analogy of the way things are taught spiritually at the moment, because say you understand something spiritually, it's not good to just keep it to yourself, okay? It's good to share it so that other people going through that will not feel so alone, and they can say, for instance, watch videos on YouTube like this one, and if they're at a specific point of evolution, they can watch this video, or this video will resonate with them, which is how the universe works. Whatever point of evolution they're on, the universe will bring things to them to help them with that evolutionary step. So I think it's good to put things out there just to help people, but preaching spiritual knowledge, especially if there's no evidence towards it, is actually a bad thing. And that's how a lot of these spiritual teachers work now. For instance, people that tell you that meditation will increase your vibrational frequency, when in reality, when you really think about this, meditation itself is only good for relaxation purposes or clearing your mind. So it's not necessarily gonna boost your spiritual evolution or allow you to see things you didn't see before, because in fact meditation is devolution and not evolution. Because any spiritual teacher, or the New Age spiritual teachers who say you need to go and meditate on a mountain and clear all your thoughts every day and then you'll ascend, is wrong, because that's basically how we've already been, okay? That's animal consciousness. That's consciousness that the animals are in, that we were once in, but we evolved out of that. So that's devolution, okay? So you have to be very careful about a lot of these New Age spiritual teachings. The chakras as well, they're quite, a lot of the teachings about the chakras are not fully real, I would say, because the chakra system is basically just all our bodily emotions, and where on the body the emotions are felt. It's not necessarily all these lotus petals that spin and all these made up things like the people teach nowadays. It's not necessarily that, okay? You've got to go by your own experience. When I used to be into spiritualism, when I first got into spiritual development, I used to go to the spirit churches where the mediums work, and a lot of the times I've seen mediums tell people things that just weren't true, but these people would believe it, okay? An example is spirit guides, okay? I went to the spirit church, and every time someone would say, you've got this lovely spirit guide around you, who's a Native American Indian, he's here around you. This is New Age stuff, you see, because in reality, that person probably doesn't see the guide themselves. They probably can't communicate with the guide. They're just believing what the church or the mediums told them, and sometimes they go the whole life thinking they've got this Native American guide around them all the time, which might be good for some people, but in a reality point of view, it's not good, because you can only learn via experience. And I was talking to my partner about this today, and she agrees. She said that sometimes you can't teach things, okay? You can only learn them by experience. So it's best just to guide people through it, or allow people to find out things for themselves. So you've got to do it in quite a clever way when you spiritually teach, to do it properly. I'll give an example of this. I don't like football, okay? I don't like the act of wanting a team to win something, because to me it's kind of like, it's something that's classed as a weakness to me. I think of football as a weakness. Some people might like it, and that's fine, but I see it as kind of gambling, kind of the ego wanting something to win. And even if that team does win, for example, it doesn't do you any good overall, okay? It doesn't change reality, it doesn't change your life, it doesn't give you any benefits or anything like that. It's just basically wanting something to win for the sake of it. So this is to me, this is kind of monkey mind mentality, and ego. So in the past, if people around us have been talking about football, I've kind of not got involved. I've just thought, well, that's what they're interested in. Fair enough, I'm not getting involved, I'm just going to be quiet. And then eventually they'd probably ask me, like, what football team do you support? And I'd be like, I don't support a team. And then they'll think I'm weird because I don't like football. They'll say, you don't support a football team? Because in the northeast of England, football kind of runs a lot of people's lives, believe it or not, still in this day and age. So I thought about this, and I thought, well, in the future, I'm not going to just say I don't support a team. I'm going to actually question them about it so that they can question themselves. So say someone says to me, what football team do you support? I'll probably say, well, I don't support a team, but why do you support a football team? And then they'll probably be like, well, because I like football. And I'll say, but why do you like football? And then they'll probably say something along the lines of, because I grew up liking football. It's what I did when I was a kid. And I'll say, well, why does everybody like football? Or why did you grow up liking football? And when you ask people this, I like to call it why therapy. It's a brilliant way of spiritually teaching people, because eventually they always get to a point where they can't answer the question, 9 times out of 10. And when they get to that point where they can't answer the question, it means that they don't fully know what they're doing or why they're doing it. They've just been kind of conditioned into doing it. And when they get to that point, that makes them think, okay? And when they get to that point, I'll usually leave the conversation at that point. So when they get to that point, it might look as if they're just totally blank and they don't know what to say, and then they dismiss it, but you don't know. They might go and think about that and really think about what are they doing in life, why they're doing what they do, what benefits are they getting out of it, and then this thought will allow them to internalize and fix their own issues, okay? Like, allow them to evolve themselves, because it's now being opened up to them to actually think about what they're doing. Now, this sounds quite basic, but this is what's missing in a lot of spiritual teachings, especially the New Age stuff. And I think that's dangerous, okay? I really think it's dangerous, and I think too many people just believe what they're told, and there's a lot of money incentives in it for a lot of spiritual teachers. They'll say, well, we'll teach you this kind of healing, we'll give you a certificate, it's only going to cost £500 or $500. And then they're there for a day, and then they've got this certificate, and they think that they're qualified in a specific spiritual healing. But when you think about it, how do they know that this healing is even real? Okay, what evidence have they got to show that it's real? I've got a friend who's a Reiki healer. He uses crystals all the time, and even he said that the crystals don't heal anyone. The healing doesn't heal anyone. Everyone heals themselves. They're just a tool. And it's all in the mind, okay? So it's all in the mind. So you've got to be careful when you spiritually teach people, and you've got to do it in a way, a lot of the times when they don't even realize you're teaching them, in a very clever ways, which is known as white magic, which is amazing, by the way. If anybody hasn't researched white magic, I would recommend maybe getting the book, A Treatise on White Magic by Alice A. Bailey. She was one of the greatest spiritual teachers of all time. She taught people how to teach in subtle ways to help people without preaching them, because preaching's no good, because when people are not spiritually ready for the information, it'll just go in one ear and out the other, because they haven't experienced enough experience to understand what you're teaching. And you'll find this a lot when you're highly evolved spiritually and you try and tell people. They're just basically not ready for the information you want to give them. So that's just some of my thoughts, guys, on spiritual teaching in this day and age. I'm constantly learning as well, because with this channel, with my blogs, I sometimes do kind of preach things a little bit, and sometimes when I preach them I don't realize, but sometimes I shouldn't really do it in that way. I should just give my opinion and allow people to learn for themselves, which is what I'm going to try and do in future, because not everyone's ready to understand your knowledge, for example, because everybody's on different stages of evolution. But one thing I have learned is that everybody's on the same evolution ladder, okay? Whatever you learn, there's always somebody else learning it, and at some point, if you're on a higher spiritual level where you see a lot of reality and other people around you don't, just remember they will get to that point as well, because everybody's on the same journey eventually. So you can guide them with it, but just try not to preach them with it. That's my recommendation with that, guys. But thanks for listening to this video. Please like this video and subscribe. Leave a comment about your experiences with spiritual teaching and in the new age teachings at the moment, whether they're real or not. And I'll see you guys in the next video.